This program is simulcast on WRPR Rat Pack Radio. Go to ratpacksports.com for more information.
Do you want to stay up to date on the latest sports news? Come check out After the Whistle from 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday night. We talk about the NHL, we talk about the NFL, we talk about the MLB. You name it, we got it. Tune in on Sports War Radio.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
Let's get back to the action. This is the Heel to the Face podcast on Sports War Radio.
We're back on the Heel to the Face podcast on Sports War Radio, Rat Pack Radio, and on iTunes. It is time for the 3 count, the 3 questions of the week, starting off with our Twitter question of the week. And the results are currently in with 3 days still left as of recording time. So not all the results are in, but where we currently stand on this question, could WWE thrive, not survive, not exist, but actually thrive without bringing back part-timers for big pay-per-views and other events? What made me obviously pose this question was thinking of when I saw Chris Jericho. How could I not all of a sudden the light bulb go off my head, go, oh yeah, SummerSlam. This isn't some in-your-house pay-per-view. This is the WrestleMania of the summer. Makes sense that they're, trying to bring back Chris Jericho. And, it obviously makes you wonder about Brock Lesnar. And it's not, it's every Brock Lesnar, even though he's champion, I would put him in the part-timer category as a special attraction. Now, the Twitter results are 65% say yes, they would thrive. 35% say no. I'm going to say that I posed this question and I voted first. 35%, that is me, part of it at least. I'm in the no. I don't think the WWE would thrive. Now, I don't mean all year round. I mean WrestleMania and SummerSlam would not be WrestleMania or SummerSlam with the same card as what we saw at, let's say, Extreme Rules or Battleground.
I would disagree. I'm in the 65%. I did say yes. Yes, we had the special attractions. You get the Chris Jerichos, you get the Brock Lesnars. I totally get that. But as I know a lot of fans out there. Even the young kids. They like to see this. There's certain superstars. But here's my thing: if you like wrestling, you like to be entertained, regardless of having some of those big part timers coming back in the fold. Yes. Does it enhance it a little bit? Yes, but I still think WWE would still thrive in that. You think
WrestleMania would still be WrestleMania?
Yes, because they could promote the hell out of it.
So I need to say this, and Jarod just changed my mind. But I want to say this, Brandon. What was the moment of WrestleMania this past year?
That's a good question.
It was the Hardy Boys coming back, and that music hit, and everyone went, no effing way, the Hardy Boys are back in this match. That, to me, I don't know if it was for you, but I will say for me, that was the moment of WrestleMania. And up until Jarod just said that and completely mind-warped me, into
He always
changing my
does.
answer because he's good at doing that. He's
He always does.
fantastic. But that to me, because I was initially the 65%, I'm like, well, of course they could thrive. They've thrived for years without doing that. But then when Jarod posed it that way and saying, WrestleMania wouldn't be the same, that nostalgia factor when you bring a guy back, whether it was expected or not expected, the way it was with their barbecue down the street, you're like, it's not going to happen. It would have been cool, WWE. And then with that possible flirtation and them actually doing it, making it happen was, for me, my WrestleMania moment. I remember watching it live, losing my crap, running around the house. Oh my God!
Now the Hardy Boys are kind of a hard one because of the fact that they're not part-timers. They were coming back, but they're under the sense of they weren't an advertised attraction. They were brought back because of nostalgia reasons, and I understand that they're there full-time, but again, it's not like the Battleground card or the Extreme Rules card where this is what you're going to get with no surprises. These are your matches. Now, I feel that, if you look at WrestleMania this year, the main event was obviously had Roman Reigns in it, who's a full-timer, but The Undertaker, part-timer, and what was the highlight of that match? It wasn't Roman Reigns, it was The Undertaker was in that match. If Roman Reigns was facing anyone else, that probably would have been down the line. Anytime Roman Reigns has been in the main event, I don't know if you noticed, he's taken on Triple H, part-timer, he's taken on Brock Lesnar, part-timer, and he's taken on Undertaker, part-timer. So, that's why he's even in there. And look at one main event, the Universal Championship. It was part-timer versus part-timer.
See, here's my thing. Now, I still stick with. I still think WWE would thrive, but I would argue if it wasn't to thrive, if it was going to take a hit. I mean, yes, WrestleMania is the big event of the year, but if the pay-per-view that would take the biggest hit, if we're using this example, would be Royal Rumble, because more people are waiting for those nostalgic guys to come back, like Diamond
But we
Dallas
didn't even
Page.
get it this past year. We got screwed. We were supposed to get
But
guys,
here's
and we
the thing.
ended up getting bummed.
The Royal Rumble doesn't get screwed because of the fact that even if they have nostalgia, they don't advertise it. So, that's just a surprise. So you're going to buy the Royal Rumble hoping that something happens, but either way, you're probably still going to be pretty entertained by just the aspect of the match itself. Now, WrestleMania, I understand that most full-timers are going to buy WrestleMania regardless, but do you think WrestleMania would have been WrestleMania this year if the main event was Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt? That was your top build match. There was no Lesnar, there was no Taker, there was no Goldberg, and the ladder match stayed the way that it was advertised. That's it. And there was, and there was no musical performances. I don't want to really put too much out there.
Yeah,
but your main event, the what it goes off the air with, the match that is highlighting that pay-per-view is Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. Let's say the Universal Championship would be Kevin Owens versus we can't say Chris Jericho because he's essentially a part-timer. So Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles might be the Universal title.
I'm fine with that. I see. Here's my thing. I am a wrestling fan. Do I want to be entertained? Yes. But I am a wrestling fan. I want to see good quality wrestling matches. If you're telling me that when Undertaker comes back on WrestleMania, or Brock Lesnar does a 3-minute match, okay, we get the spectacle. But I mean, as a wrestling fan, it falls way too short for me.
It's hard coming from our perspective because we're going to watch either way and probably be pretty pumped up if we have a good wrestling match. I'm saying from the overall generalization, the entertainment tonight covering it, the sports to be the spectacle that it is to maybe outside part-time wrestling fans, because they're what make WrestleMania. There's a reason why WrestleMania gets 70,000, and then they have a hard time selling out SmackDown a couple weeks later.
Like a Roman Reigns, though. Like if you have, because they did that with different superstars, where they interviewed on SportsCenter, they interviewed. They can interview on the Fox Sports 1. They can interview on different networks to at least get the message out there. I think as a pure wrestling fan, I think from a quality perspective, a lot of these part-timers do not put in good matches. I mean, we all can. I mean, I think we all can agree. Undertaker does not put on good matches anymore. If this was 1998 against Mick Foley and in the Hell in a Cell match,
Brandon,
hell yeah.
I think you're right there. But to Jarod's point, talk about believe it or not, the majority, or I don't know if that's fair, but there's a significant population of people that come to WrestleMania that aren't the super diehards that go there, and I feel that a lot of them are attracted by what Jarod's talking about, the part-timers, the musical festivities, and also that cross-promotion on other networks like UFC and the cross-promotion with Brock Lesnar being on there, or the bands being on there and that being covered by, Entertainment Tonight, the People magazine, this, that, this, or the other. You get so much globalization from some of these part-timers coming in, the musical festivals coming in, that wouldn't be there otherwise if you just had Roman Reigns. For other people who aren't wrestling fans, wouldn't know who that guy is outside of the wrestling
If WrestleMania was the Backlash card or the Extreme Rules card with just a few more matches thrown in there to make it, 4 hours long, that's not... I'm not saying that it wouldn't exist. I'm saying that
you're
it
underselling it, though.
WrestleMania, to me, seems not just be growing. I don't know if it even needs to really be growing, but the way that it has been the last couple years is it seems to be on an uptick. I think WrestleMania 29 was kind of, and that had a lot of part-timers in it as well. That was like the start of like the WWE Network era, and it's starting to go up. There's not really a WrestleMania that we can look to in the recent past, where there weren't part-timers on there. I mean, I'm trying to think to go back.
I mean, I can go to the WrestleMania 2000. You know what I mean? That was one of the, to me, I mean, we've talked about this before, our favorite WrestleManias that had like the Hardy Boys, that had, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian.
I want to say WrestleMania 23 in Detroit, where the main event was John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, and obviously it had the Donald Trump thing. Now, that existed. But I think that if that was the WrestleMania every single year where it was, the Bobby Lashley's or whoever exists without bringing in any special names, to be honest with you, I went to that WrestleMania and it's the worst WrestleMania that I've ever attended. And I know a lot of people like the Undertaker versus Batista match that was in it. And obviously it had the part-timerness in the sense of the Donald Trump issue. But I just feel that if that was WrestleMania every year, I'm not saying that it wouldn't exist, and I'm not saying that for a long time they wouldn't still get good crowds. I just think it would be on the decline. I don't think that it would be on the rise. I don't think that if
Could
nobody...
it be stable? I mean, it doesn't, like, I get what you're saying, that you don't think it would thrive. Thrive would indicate that it's on the rise and it's continuing to exponentially increase. And then Brandon's arguing that it wouldn't decrease. Maybe it would stabilize and that you would just have the consistent crowd all the time.
Here's my thing. When you I mean, you go to the, I mean, Jarod, you go to the WrestleMania, every year it seems like, I think. But to me, I mean, I haven't been to one. I mean, you have a better perspective of it than I do. But if there's 100,000 people there, I think I would bank on 80,000 people. 80% of those people are diehard wrestling fans. I know people that travel like you do. You traveled from upstate New York. Where did you go? Did you go to the one in Dallas?
Yes.
You traveled all the way there to Dallas. You're a diehard wrestling fan. You want to see good wrestling matches. I think you're underselling the great wrestling that you see. I think there's a lot of diehard wrestling fans.
I go, and I will say this much: I do not go because I'm a diehard wrestling fan. I go it's partially a diehard wrestling fan, but it's actually not so much focused on the wrestling, because it'd be stupid for me to say that I'm going to go to Dallas to watch, Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles when there's much better wrestling going on much closer to home. I could drive to New York City. I could even probably not even go that far to watch much better wrestling. I go to WrestleMania and don't go to, let's say, Philadelphia this past week, which is a much closer drive to Battleground, because it is that once-a-year spectacle. If it's not going to be that spectacle, then I might go to WrestleMania as much as I just go to, I'll say, oh, pay-per-view's coming to Buffalo. I'll go to that instead of going to WrestleMania if the card itself and the treatment of the event is going to be the same. There's a reason why the house show the week before I'm not so excited about, because of the fact that it's got all the full-timers there. WrestleMania, I want to see those part-timers. I'm not going to lie. I want to see... I understand that every year they decrease because they get older, but that's what makes WrestleMania. It's not about the wrestling. WrestleMania, not one of those 100,000 people there will say this is the best wrestling card of the year. This is the best athletic wrestling card of the year. This is the most entertaining, card of the year.
I'm still telling you, 80% of the people that go to these shows, and I know I have a lot of friends, across the country that are big, they're big fans like we are, and they're die-hard wrestling fans. They don't talk about, Jay-Z's going to perform, a couple tracks, or Kid Rock's going to perform a couple tracks. They are there to see a good wrestling show. And I have
well, then why are they going to WrestleMania? They're going to WrestleMania to see a good wrestling show.
Because they feel it's the
Sometimes
best.
the main event one year.
Well, they feel it's the best
Bobby
wrestling card of the
Lashley
year.
versus